Next is a discourse on art and life by Dr. Shilpa Pandit. Shilpa is a trained psychologist, researcher, trainer, and counselor. She has a rich experience in all aspects of psychological practice. Her interests in arts and spirituality started about 10 years back when she wanted to find a meaning about the emotional turbulence she was going through in her personal life. Many times, she found that the performances on the stage seemed to mirror her personal life, and many other times, the emotion performed on stage was completely dissonant with her present experience, yet something she had wanted to be or feel. These observations started a process of research over the years where she has been able to read texts on rasa, meet great art teachers, and aspiring students. She has published a few papers in academic journals, but more importantly, she has always checked and cross validated at every step whether the texts and the views of the performers resonate with the churning that people experience as they encounter life. The intention of art was to engage with the people and convey the essential and the eternal messages of living a life of well being. So says the sage Bharata. If life has to find an enhanced relevance, then it must its recharge through art. If arts are to remain relevant, then they must reflect the essential concerns, the unspoken yearning of living a life. Here, Shilpa is going to share her research insights. We welcome Dr. Shilpa Pandit.
My voice audible? Namaste. Yeah. It's very nice to be here. I am a psychologist and I'm not a guru or something. So probably we will just have a discussion and some meditation from what I have learned. So as this, we are equals in that way. It's just that somehow I have been separated from you because of the situation. Otherwise we are equal peers in a way. So what I started doing was about 10 to 15 years back as I was looking at people practicing, there were 2-3 things that I realized, and it took me a lot of questioning. One was people were constantly doing things. All the time we are doing things. We are getting up in the morning, we are getting children ready, we are doing so many things, we are getting educated, and in the process of doing so many things, we seem to be suffering so much and getting happy also. So it's not like we are always suffering, but we are getting suffering, we are suffering so much and we are getting happy also. And we keep on going through this process of getting unhappy and happy and unhappy and happy. It's not like there are great events that make us happy or unhappy. It was very minor events, like my son did not listen to me, or my husband is away out of town, or I am not able to do this which is expected of me in the family, or I am not, so many people come and talk to me, and I also reflected and looked back at my life. So there seems to be a kind of up and down going in life, and we keep on going up and down through the variety of emotions without finding any solution out of it. That was my first feeling. So now when you look, and that seemed to be life to me. Life seemed to be like this, strange. And if you looked at the stage, for example, they also showed ups and downs in emotions, but they seemed to be enjoying it. We seem to be enjoying watching that. But when we go through ups and downs in our life, we don't seem to be enjoying that. Why is it so? It's strange, right? Even when we see on the stage great dancers like Indira or Sujata Mohapatra ji, who's going to perform today, they show a variety of emotions, and when we watch them, we seem to enjoy even the negative emotions. We seem to enjoy the anger, and we seem to enjoy the sarcasm of the Khandita Naika, and we seem to enjoy even the sarcasm of the Khandita Sadharana Naika also. like a common way when people fight and get sarcastic. We seem to enjoy when we are watching it. But if you were to be that, you would certainly not enjoy being betrayed. You would certainly not enjoy being treated like that. So there seems to be a disconnect between what we think of as life and what is called as art of living, which is shown on the stage. So if on the stage also they are showing emotions, but we seem to be enjoying, but we don't seem to be enjoying our life as we go through it, there is a problem there. And this is how we started doing some research. And when I started doing some research, we came up with this concept called rasa. And that has been, I have been working on this concept for the last like 10 years. So I think I'll work on another 10 years on that. And all the Rasikas, you all, we have been going to kacheris and we've been watching dancers and we've been listening to music, some wonderful music going on there. And we seem to find rasa there. That's what people say. And we seem to find, these people are called as rasika. Right? So, then a variety of questions came to my mind. One was, if rasa is life, which is what Veda says, Taittiriya Upanishad says that rasa is life, which means we should be enjoying life with that kind of ananda that the Veda says, and we are not able to do that. So, therefore, if Veda says in one of the Vedic corpus, there is an Upanishad called Taittiriya Upanishad. And this Taittiriya Upanishad is being taught as Ananda Mimamsa. And Ananda is a big word in India, right? Ananda means happiness. And this says that each one of us has happiness within, and each one of us lives life which is full of happiness. And that Veda is called, has also been taught as Ananda Mimamsa, study of happiness. So when we see that Veda, it says, there is one line there which is actually the signature of Kalakshetra Foundation now. It's called Raso Vaisaha, which means that self is full of rasa. Which means our self is full of rasa, it's full of happiness. And then it says, Rasam labdva hevayam anandi bhavati. Means the person becomes happy when they get rasa. So this whole thing means that there is rasa which is within us, but we don't seem to be accessing it somehow all the time, that we seem to be going up and down in our life through a variety of reasons. There is a lot of turbulence in life. Sometimes people divorce, sometimes people attempt or think of giving up on life, sometimes people think of giving up on their exams, sometimes people lose jobs, there is a lot of difficulty in families, sometimes people struggle for their children. In all this process, can we find rasa? That is what the Veda says. We should be able to find rasa in that. So there is, that is the connection between rasa and ananda, or art and life, And the third statement in this title that Ramprasad ji gave was discourse. Usually we think of discourse as some kind of a pravachana or some kind of a lecture, but discourse actually means a discussion. And discussion is between you and me and within us. So if there is a discourse, a discussion between us, within us, then surely we'll find a way to make a connection between art and life, or the art of life, which is one of the organizations, Art of Living. So I went and asked people what is rasa according to them, and I got a lot of answers. So my then discussion with you will be, to start with, what is rasa according to you? You have been listening to music, you have been doing this wonderful yoga exercises now. My question to you will be, as a researcher, as a skeptic, as a psychologist, what is rasa according to you? Can we have a small discussion on that?
Morning.
Yes.
My name is Madan.
Yes.
I'm a bank manager. I'm a TV movie performer,
Huh.
and it's really nice to be here this morning.
Yes.
See, today I've shunned all my walking exercise and everything, but anyway, I've learned this Tachi and everything,
Yes.
and I'm listening to you. Really, it's a good event to be here. And Rasa means appreciating everything, ஹர் ஏக் பல், ஒவ்வொரு சமயத்தில் ஒன்று ஒன்று நடக்கிறதையும் நம்ம ரசனையாக ஏற்றுக்கிறது, அதை நம்ம எப்படி நம்ம பார்வையால் உள்வாங்கி இன்டர்னலைஸ் பண்ணிக்கிறது, அதான் ரசனை அப்படிங்கிறது என்னோட கணிப்பு.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else, please? Let's have a discussion on this.
Morning, ma'am.
Yes.
I am really taken by surprise this morning. I came for my usual walk. I'm Usharani Ganesh, a homemaker. I quit my teaching job recently.
Okay.
Right now I'm at home. But I really take it as a privilege to be in Chennai and having such lovely, atmosphere and programs going on, and what benefits we are reaping out of it.
Yes.
I really, and this morning Tai Chi, I really enjoyed doing, although I could not do all the exercises.
Yes.
And see that enjoyment and also the appreciation of the person who is teaching out of so much concern, and and it has, I'm sure it must have benefited all the people, those who have participated, and even the onlookers.
Right.
That is where is rasa.
Oh.
Similarly, when you hear to the kacheri music, see, you may be good at understanding the raga or whatever. Music has no language, no such barriers,
Right.
whereby you still enjoy
Right.
the rhythm of the music.
Right.
That's where you really appreciate it, even though you don't understand the language or anything
Right.
like that, or maybe you don't understand Carnatic, still you enjoy the music.
Yes.
That is where I stand. Though I know Tamil, I know Carnatic music, but I'm not able to sing like him, so I still enjoy how so beautiful he sings. So I feel my day is really fulfilled with so much of life. That gives a lot of life to you. It gives you a lot of energy.
Okay. So how does it give a lot of life? I mean,
It
how?
makes you really energetic and feels nice about the day.
Oh.
I feel very nice.
Okay. Okay.
It's lovely today.
Okay.
I
so,
thank.
So what are 3 points that I understood from you? As of now, I'll summarize and then we'll go. One is you said about appreciating through all in the now. That's one point you are saying. The second thing that I understood, maybe I'm wrong, please correct me. The second thing that you said was that it is in, we may not be excellent in performing,
Exactly.
but in receiving in togetherness. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, yes.
Receiving in togetherness.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so first is appreciation, second is receiving in togetherness,
Yes.
and third thing which I am a little, that's why I asked you, my doubt was that you said it makes your life, it
Yes.
energizes you.
Yes.
How does it do? We'll have to go forward in that. Yes,
It does.
because that's a question, isn't it?
It does.
Yeah. So nice. Thank you so much. Ma'am, you would like to say? Yeah.
Hi Shilpa.
Yes.
I feel that rasa is when there is no disconnect anywhere. When it is whole, as in the performer, the listener, the audience. You don't have any third thoughts, any other thoughts,
Right.
either polluting or coming in between.
Right.
It is one whole, and everybody in that atmosphere feels
The same.
that energy and that sameness.
Okay, that's an interesting
To
point.
different degrees perhaps, but
Yeah.
definitely, when you are having the rasa, let's say somebody is performing and you are, I'm taking that example where it's a stage and
Yes,
an audience.
yes,
There is no, you're actually not thinking of, have I kept the gas on, or have I locked my door? I mean, you are not thinking of that. Have I done something? Oh, is there an exam tomorrow? All these thoughts are not polluting you. You're there, and 100% of your attention is there, and you're completely in that subject.
okay. That's an interesting point. Anybody else here? Anybody else would like to say anything? Ranjit, Indira wants to say. Vijna, can I have a notepad? Please. Such wonderful points coming here. We need to make a note of it.
When you are one with yourself,
Yes.
I think that is rasa. And also, like when the performer,
Yeah.
what the performer is trying to convey
Huh.
and what the audience is receiving, if it is on the same level,
Huh.
then when they are together, I think the rasa is there.
Okay. So we are having five very interesting thoughts here. First, appreciation. Second, togetherness, something about togetherness. Third is finding an energy or rejuvenation from it. Fourth point that you said was about being totally involved in it, one and all of them together in it. You know, that was an interesting point. And what was your point? You said when your communication with the audience is at the same level.
Same level.
Same level, right?
As she mentioned, when one forgets oneself, like where they are just into it. Whatever the performer is conveying.
Yeah.
When the performer and the audience, they're together,
Yeah.
rasa is there.
Then rasa is there. And it rejuvenates. So you are a dancer.
Definitely.
How does it rejuvenate? I mean, really? See, we all go and listen, right? We need to figure this out. How does it rejuvenate? What's your view on that?
Rejuvenate.
Does it rejuvenate?
It depends on what she's performing actually. Yeah.
It rejuvenates only if there is rasa. Okay. So which? Yes. This is a quote. I'm going to quote you on this. It rejuvenates. So that's a little refinement that we see here. It rejuvenates only when there is rasa. Okay. Yes, Ranjit.
People's view and rasa will be different. See, some people like dance and they enjoy.
Huh.
Some people doing yoga, they enjoy.
Right.
Some people just sitting, they enjoy.
Right.
That differs.
That differs. Correct. Okay. Correct.
That
Yeah.
means, your inner feeling should connect with the particular object what you see to get rasa. That's what I think.
Okay. So there is a trigger outside that you should get. Okay. So that what we are saying today is something that all the theoreticians said, and it's amazing to see that resonate even now. So 1500 years, some people say 2000 years before Christ, we had Bharata, sage, who wrote the Natya Shastra, and he gave some very interesting ideas about rasa. He said the most important thing about Natya or any stage context, that it should create rasa, otherwise it is not art. So the whole purpose of art is to create rasa. But the most interesting thing about, and he said, nahi yo artho hriday samvadi, which means that which touches your heart, tasya bhavo rasodbhava, only that bhava will create rasa. That's his statement in the 6th chapter of Natya. Which means anything that touches your heart, is that emotion only creates rasa, he says. So it's an important point that only when that emotion touches your heart, that rasa is created, that it rejuvenates you. That's the point, right? So that's important for us, because not all art or not all life, and I am going to take this argument forward now, not all art and not all life does touch your heart. So the moment the life touches your heart, there is a possibility of getting into that rasa. That's the point. So what does it mean then? What does it mean? It means that the moment we live life full of heart, it should create a possibility of rasa. Is that fine? Is that fine? Are we all together in this? The moment we are not fully in life with our heart, then we are not getting rasa. So there is a problem in this. Because the moment we are fully in life, what happens? The moment we are fully in heart, with our heart we live life, what happens? What happens?
Always happy and
There is involvement. Yes, ma'am, there is involvement. Okay. But what happens when there is involvement, ma'am? Are we always in the state of happiness, ma'am? It's momentary. One. Second, what happens then? If we are constantly involved with all our heart, putting our heart on the platter, what happens then?
But then it is not with everybody.
Correct. Okay. It cannot be with everybody.
I may enjoy, get rejuvenated, but the next person may not be enjoying.
May not feel anything. You also said that there should be a perfect communion, right? So which means that the moment we start living in full heart, there are 3 or 4 possibilities. One is that we may not achieve communion. We may not achieve togetherness in it. We may feel isolated and lonely, and we will also get equally hurt. So the problem then happens is that if we put our heart on the platter right there in front of everybody, then we are likely to get hurt. Is this not the reason why people detach themselves from life? Is it not? We all learn to detach ourselves and we say, Abhi nahi hai, bahut ho gaya, let us switch off, because they will hurt us. So that's the second part in this whole meditation. The second part in this whole meditation is really to think through that when I am totally involved in my life, when I give my best to people, somehow I am not able to get the communion, somehow I am not able to get the reflection, somehow I get hurt, so what do I do? Right? So it is one thing to put it on the stage, and that's what I meant, that there is a disconnect then. It is one thing to see that happiness on the stage and let it rejuvenate us. It is another thing then to look for rasa in everyday life. But art has to reflect life and life has to reflect art. So there must be a way to bridge that. Is it not? That is what is art of living then? No? Is it not? Then how do we bridge that? We all must have tried. We all have that heart.